At the end of my last training block, I faced a challenging decision between two shoes. The first one was the Metaspeed Edge Tokyo. The second was the Douyin PB Pro. And today, I got the Douyin up to 100 miles. And I'm going to tell you all about my updated thoughts and feelings on it. It is quite the frigid day to be wearing such a chilly shoe. I am in the Douyin PB Pro, which is a hyper shoe at 150 grams, and I'm going to be going for a long run in it. I've been craving a little bit of lower drop in my life, and these have a 4mm drop. They feel even flatter than that. Like right now, it feels like I'm rocked back on the heels with a negative drop just standing here. So I've been running in a lot of higher stack, higher drop shoes like the Puma Mag Max 2 and the Asics Mega Blast. So it's nice to get that stack down, get that drop down a little bit, work the calves a little harder, give the hips a rest. It's why I love doing running shoe reviews. And it doubles as the 100-mile review for the Douyin PB Pro. I'm sitting at some like mid 80 miles on this right now. By the end of today, I'll be up past 100. So with that, let's go.
Get up and go, get moving. Get up and go, get moving. Body in a rhythm, thought in motion. Mind is free and chasing, stay in motion.
Yesterday's melt off and then refreezing has left this odd mixture of frozen water and frozen dust on the pavement, and I'm not getting the best traction in the Douyin PB Pro. This has not really happened before, or at least not to my memory. Maybe it has, but traction's always been perfectly fine in this. Maybe I've just never taken it out in wetter conditions, but I have a feeling a lot of shoes would slip right now. It's just a weird surface to be running on, like really dusty, frozen dust. Otherwise, I forgot what a lightning fast shoe this is. I feel myself pushing the pace already. Not even at 2 miles yet. It's a good day for it, though.
Ripping wicked fast, I hardly heard you. On top, can't be stopped, it's called Runnertia.
I have been reading a book called Septology by John Foss. It's actually 3 books, but it's presented as one, which I think is actually how it was marketed to the male audience, that it is much more suited towards. Although I wouldn't say that's necessarily true. It's just that it's very, the protagonist, whose head you live completely inside of throughout, is male, and he's an aging male painter in some far-flung rural part of Bergen in Norway, or Bjorgvin, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And it's very much dealing with God, specifically the Christian God, and I've been struggling with it a little bit. Not the book itself, but the thesis, the point. It seems to be, oh god, this is very icy. Seems to be arguing from like a point of creation, like a watchmaker's analogy, because the painter is always trying to paint the lightness inside the dark. Like the darks must be shining very lightly, is the concept of it, and really is like trying to say that in the deepest essence of the void of reality, there shines most brightly the evidence of God. And then it takes a leap where, since it's being created by this painter in an effort to mirror the act of the creation of reality, like creation is the value that's being purported. This is a little jumbled, but stay with me. The issue that I have with it is that argument from creation presupposes that everything needs a cause and everything needs to be created like it was designed. But the only reason we believe that as humans, to me, is because we ultimately strive to create above all else. And so it seems like the author is making the same mistake with his belief set, where it's like, you're creating this book, your character is creating these paintings because humans love to create, and that's what we do most intrinsically. That's not evidence of God. That's evidence that humans perceive themselves to be gods. But it's still really thought-provoking, and the style in which it's written is pretty much unlike any other book that I've ever read. Still a great book. Just like frustrated with some of the concepts sometimes. John Foss could also be referring to the soul when he refers to light in the darkness, or perhaps consciousness, or whatever the fundamental building block of the universe is. Probably he would call that God. But the substance or event or non-physical being that is creating that lightness in the dark, that is that being. That I could get behind a little bit. Could understand it a little better. But it also seems like he's creating that light in the dark, which doesn't seem, I don't know. Is it there? Is he creating anything from nothing? Because he's just rearranging what's already there, all of the substance of reality, to create different images. It's not, strictly speaking, a new thing. It's just atoms and particles and perhaps even consciousness rearranged. And it was already there. So what about that implies that it was created? I just ran past my gym, which means I've never run this far in this direction before. Uncharted territory. I've been pretty locked in for the majority of this run, although I did come up the backside of Cobb's Hill, and that definitely wiped me out a bit. I didn't know it was coming either, so I didn't really have time to brace for it. But the Dowen PB Pro, man, this is a super shoe. I'll have more coherent thoughts on it when I get back, but I am feeling the power right now. It is nearly as fast on foot as the Streak Fly 2. High praise. So I haven't been yapping it up with you all today because this has been a really focused run. I've been going pretty quick, but it's been really challenging conditions. The wind has been intense. I've been all over the city, so there's been a ton of ice. I was really hoping it would be better today. It wasn't the worst that it's been, for sure. But I also hit 2 massive hills. backside of Cobb's, and then one on South. For my Rochesterians, you'll know. I'm gonna look at my elevation when I get back. I'm pretty close to done, another 2 and change. I'll talk to you in the recap. 20 miles, 7:48 pace. That was cardiovascularly really rewarding and really kind of easy. Felt good. I mean, I wouldn't say it was easy, but cardio was not the limiting factor there. My legs are blasted right now. So firm and harsh going down the hills, and I don't think it's the shoe at all. I think I just like, my muscles are like failing me right now. Yeah, and like the reason I don't think it was the Douyin PB Pro is that it felt the whole time a lot like somewhere between the Mega Blast and the Antasy 2027, like a less rigid Anta, and I was getting a lot of like pneumatic, linear, like nice bounce, reliable, like not wild bounce, very predictable. Yeah, it felt really good underfoot. Maybe it is the harshness of the shoe, like it's lower stack, it's lower drop. That was what I set out to run in today, and maybe my legs just weren't really prepared for it as much as I thought they were. And I hit the downhill super hard, like it was just a lot of downhill today because I did a lot of uphill as well. So I'm really curious to look at the vert in today's run and see how that factors into the good morning, into how I feel right now, because I thought it was honestly going a little bit faster than that throughout the entire run. I would have put myself closer to 7:30s, but I'm not disappointed at all. I feel really, really good. Yeah, some notes on the shoes really quick. They do disappear underfoot, and one thing that I was really grateful for is that since there's so much ice today on the sidewalks, these feel very nimble. That's like their most streak fly quality is, I don't know, it's just that since they're so light and lower to the ground, they feel very navigable, especially for a marathon racing shoe, almost like the Edge Tokyo. But even today they felt more nimble than I have felt in the Tokyo before, but the Tokyo has felt comparatively more nimble than this in the past. So it's, I guess, on a day-by-day basis, and it could just be that today my hips were so shot that a shoe like this is going to feel more appropriate for my stride, because I don't want to put too much pressure on my, like, using my glutes and my hips to push off. Not that I do very much anyways of that, but running in the Mag Max yesterday had me feeling at a slower pace than I'm used to, had me feeling a specific way in the hips. And so yeah, that probably contributed to how nimble this felt today, and probably any shoe that was lower stack, lower drop would have felt a bit more nimble. But yeah, the outsole on this, though, not as grippy as a lot of other shoes. It's probably even less grippy than the Adios Pro 4, but I didn't slip. I was very much more sure-footed in the corners in this, so like the cornering stability on this is for sure better than something like the Adios Pro 4. That's just top of mind. Like I'm thinking about the Pro 4 a lot because I've run in it a bit recently. And yeah, this turns way more nimbly, aggressively than that shoe does, and that's because this has a firmer foam, like a much firmer foam, and yeah, minimal cutout as well. But the grip on it is, when it was just like dry road, it wasn't a problem at all. But even on like the icy, dry, sandy stuff early on in the run, I did notice a bit of like slippage, which, yeah, I don't know what to say there. But we're going to talk about this a lot more inside. And with that, back to the studio. We're back with the Douyin PB Pro, and the run today was hard. It was well-paced, super difficult. Honestly, I am currently so exhausted from that run, but it's also really rewarding. There are several parts of it that were rewarding that do and don't involve the shoes. So, first, the most rewarding thing for me is I was super underfed going into this. I didn't eat a ton yesterday. I was working on a project around the house all day with my buddy and just totally lost track of time, did not eat enough food, was feeling sick at the end of the day, had to do grocery shopping still. So my yesterday was terrible. And then I made the worst oatmeal I've ever had. I don't even know what I did wrong this morning. And so I didn't eat my oatmeal and I went on the run anyways. Brought a couple gels with me, had 2 gels. I'm getting into the rhythm of using less gels out on the run, and that's just to conserve money. And also, I don't like gels anyways, so why would I eat them when I don't have to? So that's why I've been eating just like at maximum 2 gels out on the run, and that's what I did today. So I was in a pre-fatigued state. My legs have been pretty clobbered. My hips were beat up from yesterday running in the Puma Mag Max 2 and doing so at a slower pace. So I was in disarray today. So that's why running 20 miles at a 7:48 pace was pretty darn rewarding, because I came into this bad and left it good. And the reason that I chose the Douyin PB Pro today is that it's what I just said, that my hips were in a lot of pain. And so I wanted something lower drop, lower stack that felt a bit more connected to the ground. And the Douyin definitely, even though it's a carbon plated racing shoe and has a really sort of protective foam, it's really hard to describe this foam, and I will try to do a better job of that in just a moment. But it's, for all of that, it still is more connected than something like the Mag Max, and especially since the geometry is flatter as far as heel to toe drop is concerned, it is going to work my calves more than something like the Mag Max would. So there are several reasons that I chose this. I also really wanted to get it up to 100 miles because it is such a great shoe, and I left today feeling even more positive about this shoe than I ever have in the past. And so just really quick about it, it's a 150-gram hyper shoe from a company known as Douyin from a country known as China, and it has this uncompressed aliphatic TPU, which means it's that like fuzzy textured foam that they use in the Pro Evo 2, although I think the Pro Evo 2 from Adidas is uncompressed EVA. So if anything, this is maybe a little better. I don't really know. I haven't run in the Pro Evo 2, nor would I. But this has been shockingly durable for the type of super shoe that it is. I mean, it's really no frills, no nonsense. Like, look at this. Like, you could probably even see some of my eyeballs through here. It's just that, I mean, you could see my hand going behind it. It is that see-through of a mesh. There's just nothing to this shoe. And so the fact that it's been holding up so extremely well, I mean, it's granted, it's only 100 miles, but I say that, like, some shoes over the course of 100 miles show a lot more wear. One of my favorites, the Streak Fly 2, has been showing substantially more midsole wear than this has. This is pretty much intact still. There's nothing particularly damaged about it. I mean, there's probably quite a lot of dog hair on it, but it's a little dirty because it's a running shoe. But really, there's no signs of actual wear on this. Although the outsole, I am noticing, and I did notice today that it was a little slicker than it used to be, and I am noticing on the lateral side of this one that the rubber is slightly less put together. It's a little worn down, but at 100 miles, honestly, like, most shoes look like this or worse, so I can't complain there. And for runners that do strike more on the heel, there's not really any outsole back there, so good luck. I mean, there's this little patch, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it's not a substantial shoe. The foam holding up as well as it's been holding up is super impressive to me. And it felt like it today. It felt like the foam held up throughout the entire run. What I did notice on the run towards the end of it, this could be because I was undernourished. It could be just the fatigue from the week. I'm not really sure, but my legs were totally shattered at the end of this run. Not just my lower legs, but where I was already feeling it in my hips, my glutes, my hamstrings, like everything. Everything was in shambles. And my calves, after sitting for a little bit just now, my calves do feel it. So I was definitely working my calves as I intended today. And I also intended to get my vert. So by the magic of editing, I will go get my vertical climb right now. Well, I definitely thought it was more than that, but it was 535 feet of incline, which really was concentrated though on two main hills. There's one that was the backside of Cobb's Hill that I've talked about on this channel, and then another one going up south towards Highland Park that was like I didn't want to go up that hill, but I also didn't want to turn around and go back the route that I normally went. I don't know if you guys do the same thing, deliberately choosing a harder path just to avoid doing something that you generally do. That's me. That actually says a lot about who I am as a person. So that was the run. Things that I really like about this shoe. It feels very nimble on foot. I was mumbling about that in the recap. Most of my recaps are some disjointed thoughts just immediately following the run because I have run brain and it's very hard for me to talk verbally and think at the same time when I've come back from a 20-mile effort. I felt a big wave of emotions after this 20 miles today, and that's been not so much the case for most 20 milers for me, like over the last several months. Normally I'm pretty composed afterwards, but every once in a while, you know how it is, like with the marathon, if you finish a marathon and you just start crying afterwards. That's happened to me in all of my marathons, actually. Yeah, it's all of them. And this 20 miler was a lot like that. It was just this, my body is like leaking emotions or something. But I still felt really, really great about the effort. It was quicker than typical for my long runs. And reflecting on it a little bit, like the beginning of last year, I had a long run that was either 18 or 20 miles. I can't remember. I think it was only 18. And I ran an 8:09 pace for that entire run. I came back, I cried a little bit, I wept in the lawn, and I was so proud of myself. And I felt more comfortable today, more relaxed today on this effort, despite it being hard, despite the hills, despite how broken my legs feel right now. I still felt less challenged by today's run, which was faster and, in more difficult conditions than that one, with all of the wind, with all of the ice. Like, it feels good to see yourself making progress. And I hope that you all, whenever you notice that, really take a moment to feel how good it feels to see where you've come from and how far you've progressed in your training. It's a good feeling for me. I hope it's a good feeling for you too. And that's really why we do it, is to just continue to grow as runners and as people too. Like, once you have this in your head as a runner, that you're always moving forward and that you're always making progress. And even if you're not making time progress, maybe you're making progress in like injury prevention or recovering from an injury or just staying consistent over time, it transfers into your daily life. And I hope that I can continue to improve in other areas of my life as well as a result from running. And that's where I think, like, those emotional long runs, the hard ones that we go through, really start to build character, not just running prowess and skill and technique. And yeah, today was a great day for that. I feel really, really accomplished today. And yeah, the shoe, man, the Dowen PB Pro is probably better than most super shoes. I'm going to be completely honest. Like, I trust this more than the Adios Pro 4 for a marathon. It might leave me a little more broken than something like the Adios Pro 4 because it's lower stack, it's lower drop, it's more streamlined, it's less forgiving. But the way the lace is secure down, if you get it tied correctly, it's going to stay tied correctly. Like, the laces aren't going to leave the eyelet like hole from the serrated notch that it's locked in on at all. Like, it's not going to slip from even just the laces gripping the eyelet hole, let alone the knot. Like, the knot's definitely not going to slip. And yeah, it just fits my foot really well. Also, that's an underrated thing. It feels like the foam has actually sort of like compressed without compressing to cradle my toes under like on the platform. So it's almost like a custom fitting shoe at this point. And I think that this is only going to get better with time. I'm going to rip some more track workouts with this. And when I think about this, this was an impactful long run for me. Just a really good feeling one and a hard one at that. And over the summer, I actually PR'd in the 5K 3 times in this, twice during a 3x5K workout, which was the most recent PR in this shoe specifically. And then once before that, just on a random day. So this is so lightning quick. Like it is such a lightning quick shoe and I should be running in it more. You know, sometimes like I get in the rhythm of testing all of these shoes and I forget just which ones actually really do stand out. I think that part of it for me with this one, with the Doan PB Pro, is that like it doesn't give excitement like some of the other shoes give, especially brand new PIBA. Brand new PIBA feels very compressive and explosive. It's like a full downward actuation and then boom, and then it's like you're springing along. Whereas I feel like the aliphatic TPUs don't give as immediate of a kaboom sensation as PIBA does. But I think that they work really well for just chugging along and staying at pace and going and going and going. And it's like, that's what running is about, really. That's the type of foam that I want in a racing shoe, right? The fun factor of a racing shoe is fun, but I almost would rather have that in something almost like really low stack and just a track ripper. Like, give me one of these without the plate. And maybe I still want the same foam because I really do like this foam, but maybe a different version of the Doan PB Pro, maybe the Doan PB where it's a PIBA Doan PB and it is just without the plate and it's really compressive PIBA. That might be super unstable, but I bet you it would be a wild ride. I would also like an unplated version of this with the same exact block of uncompressed aliphatic TPU because I think that would be a crazy training shoe and it would be probably way better than the Mega Blast. Probably also it would need to have a different upper, of course, because this is very racy. But I could go on and on about this. This was a really, really great run today. I'm so tired right now, so I will leave you all with that. Thank you very much for your attention, and as always, stay in motion.
Get up, no, get moving. Molly is a ritter, I the notion. Body's trying to get to stay in motion, but